Uh, This is the 5th week for our class. Okay, this week we will deal with the title of Enabling and Enforcing Social Distancing Measures Using Smart City and ITS Infrastructure. This paper is written by the same author, Gupta, and his colleagues. Okay. Okay, let's see the abstract of this paper. Okay, Internet of Things, okay, is a revolutionary domain that has caliber to impact over our lives and bring significant changes to the world. This is yes. Several IoT applications have been envisioned to facilitate data-driven and smart application for the user. Smart city and ITS is Intelligent Transportation System, offer a futuristic vision of a smart, secure, and safe experience to the end user. So this paper focused on smart city and Intelligent Transportation System, ITS. Yeah. Yes. At the same time, efficiently manage the sparse resources and optimize the efficiency of city operations. However, outbreaks and pandemics like COVID-19 have revealed the limitation of the existing deployments. Therefore, architecture, applications, and technology system needed to be developed for swift and timely enforcement of guidelines. Rules of government orders to contain such future outbreaks. This works outline the novel architecture, potential use cases, and some future directions in developing such application using smart city and ITS. So the main keyword of this paper is related to smart city, intelligent transportation system, COVID-19, social distancing, IoT, artificial intelligence, digital twin, big data, and the cybersecurity. Let's move to introduction. Okay, COVID-19 pandemic, okay, made a large portion of the population impacted. Okay, this opportunity in the existing technologies and infrastructures to contain the spread of this highly contagious virus. The impact of coronavirus is both global and unpredictable. Also, supply chain shock it is causing will most definitely and substantially cut into worldwide manufacturing revenue of US 15 trillion. Yeah. Lack of approved medicine to cure this disease press the need for prevention and mitigation mechanisms to minimize the spread. Social distance measures. This include countryside lockdown, travel prohibition, quarantining hotspot, and limiting customers at the essential business. For example, home stay and working at home are slowly restricting the spread of virus. It is paramount in such critical situations to implement safety mechanisms and the various agencies work in coordination to limit the spread of the disease. It is expected that a broad range of situational intelligence and automated targeted response is needed throughout the community to ensure the safety of the people and the assets, with the aim to lower the facilities and minimize impact on the economy. However, even in the cities where the strict social distancing guidelines were issued to limit the movement, it has been noticed that the technology can play a role in enforcing such restrictions. In the United States, New York and San Francisco, New Orleans, Philadelphia ranked as the most vulnerable, especially in terms of health risks. These large cities are vulnerable due to high population density and the higher use of public transportation, according to the report. Also, about 61% of New York City residents commute using public transportations, compared to less than 0.1% of residents from Amarillo, Texas, which ranked as one of the least vulnerable cities in the United States. It is currently clearly evident, with the surge in number of cases for COVID-19, that our cities are not prepared for fending off such pandemics and outbreaks. Assisting in tracking the suspects, limiting movement of people to vulnerable neighborhoods, directing and monitoring traffic, or even pushing alert to commuters. There are some initiatives worldwide which were deployed on ad hoc basis to fight this pandemic. Countries and cities deploy drones with loudspeakers to communicate rules and government-mandated precaution with residents. Wearable devices have been mandated for the population to enforce quarantine measures. Various telecommunication data has been used to monitor the large gathering of people. Corporations are developing applications for contact tracing, which can effectively be enabled to trigger an alert if someone gets in contact with a newly diagnosed COVID-19 patient. Currently, many countries around the world are approaching the idea of deploying smart cities, including USA, Netherlands, China, and Japan, to say the least. For instance, Amsterdam's latest model of smart city is 3.0 motivated the active participation of citizens and the private organizations along with the government in creating expanding smart city solutions. This initiative includes research project data sharing in areas such as infrastructure and technology, smart energy, and water and intelligent transportation system. Another prime example in Smart America, a White House Presidential Innovation Fellow project with the goal of research smart city related topics such as ITS, smart manufacturing, healthcare, smart energy, disaster response. Although many cities are taking the initiative of turning into smart cities, there are many challenges that need to be addressed. To be effectively prepared for future outbreaks and enforce protocol, it is expected that the smart cities and the ITS technology will host a range of data-driven service together with deployed sensors to not only help in enforcing community-wide social distancing measures, but also assist in early detection of such outbreaks. So, Gupta, this paper focused on the proposing a novel architecture along with several use cases which can be deployed to create a smart city and ITS-inspired data-driven system which can help to enable and enforce community distancing measures during pandemics and high-impact, low-frequency events. Okay, figure 1 shows the holistic overview of smart city and ITS architecture. The proposed conceptual model specifically caters to the requirements and support applications which are envisioned to enforce social distancing and community measures in pandemic and high-impact, low-frequency events like COVID-19. In simple terms, this architecture provides a common basis for planners and engineers to conceive, design, implement the system together with concerns relevant to large number of stakeholders to offer service and alert data-driven applications. This service-oriented architecture is scalable to offer application in wider geographic locations, offering quality of service. Overall, the architecture consists of physical device, including roadside sensors. Traffic signal, for example, traffic signal. Traffic light, smart traffic light, and connected cars. Having ability to record real-time data and exchange messages with nearby entities and upload the relevant information to central cloud facilities for processing. At the same time, such smart physical device can also replicate edge compute to to offer capability for real-time low-latency communication supported by ITS, such as vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-infrastructure. Usually, vehicle-to-infrastructure communication passed through the cloud center, the vehicle everything. This is vehicle to Internet of Things communication. So vehicle to vehicle, V2V is car to car, vehicle to vehicle. Direct communication, machine to machine communication, just like M2M communication. So the flexibility of the architecture to adapt to various use case requirements can be achieved by having a hybrid edge cloud support model, which enable dynamic real-time needs and at the same time offer infinite computation on data captured using central cloud infrastructures. Basic safety messages can also be used to enable V2X communication with information pertaining to event location, even severity. It is also viable to create detailed twins for various smart devices to offer virtual counterpart for each physical object. These twins, based on the data collected in real environment, can provide insight to improve operations, increase efficiency, and discover issues. Okay, this figure shows the smart city and the ITS architecture. Okay, we can see okay, this is a cloud. Okay, and the drone can monitor the transportation system. Okay, so ITS, intelligent transportation system, include this car, ambulance, bus, school bus, taxi, and taxi, bus, and this is traffic light. Also include IoT, Internet of Things, and they can communicate to cloud, and also this all the traffic in transportation system, such as bus, taxi, ambulance, they are all connected to cloud center, and they interconnect the nursing home, grocery store, and restaurant. Okay. This combines smart city and ITS architecture. Okay, the participating entities, including vehicles, law enforcement, drones, parking sensors, and other roadside units, must enroll with a central authority to receive a certificate and ensure trustworthiness. This is security side important. of messages exchanged among entities. The communication technologies which can enable the message exchange can include cellular LTE, Wi-Fi, 5G, or dedicated short-range communication. In addition, message queuing, telemetry, transport, messaging protocols has been widely used to support the physical entity to cloud service providers like Amazon Web Service or Microsoft Azure. This architecture will lead multiple technologies and communication protocols to cater different use cases. As shown in figure, the communication can happen among different physical entities using cloud-supported device service, edge-assisted messaging, or even peer-to-peer model. Such infrastructure-supported technologies will lead to long-term investment and partnership among public-private entities to enable hundreds of smart device interaction with each other. The architecture future focused on offering data sharing platforms across interested parties, which can help speed up reaction times and also enforce community measures in critical situations. By real-time data sharing with law enforcement, city authorities, or other stakeholders. It is expected that the more efficient and automated response mechanism can be implemented. For example, in order to ensure social distancing and limiting community gatherings, drones can be used to collect information about the number of individuals. Messages can be sent to near traffic signals to divert the traffic to other locations. At the same time, automatic disinfectant and forging can be deployed in certain locations based on number of existing cases, vulnerable to large gatherings. Parking availability can be shared in real time with the cloud service, and the registered individuals can be allotted time to ensure minimum human interface. These applications allow cities to gain insight and identity problems with a low response time. At the same time, enable efficient resource planning in times with high resource demand in most affected areas. With the continuous monitoring and the data capturing and the real-time communications, an efficient and more productive, safer environment can be created. Let's move to the section of use cases, section 3. In this section, they discuss important use cases that describe how smart city infrastructure and various intelligent transportation system technologies can be used to enable social distancing measures in a swift, timely manner together with the data-driven AI applications. Okay. First, let's see the monitoring large gatherings. Monitoring large gatherings during pandemics is essential to regular social distancing. ITS, Intelligent Transportation System. ITS and smart cities infrastructure can play an important role in such a scenario. During the COVID-19 outbreak, multiple countries have started utilizing drones, other AI-assisted technologies to enforce social distancing rules, including lockdown rules. For example, state police in Western Australia, Derbyshire police in England, the local police in Italy, local police in New Jersey plan to utilize drones to enforce social distancing. The drones can be used to monitor areas like recreational park, beaches, and the public transit, ensuring people comply with the most recent forced gathering rules. Based on severity of infection in particular place, more or less stringent rules can be used. This can be done by using body heat temperature sensors to detect the number of people present in one particular place. Upon detecting a higher than allowed number, drones can be instruct the people to evacuate the place due to higher chance of getting infected. It can also be used to detect proximity of people to enforce the distancing rules. If a particular area is known to be hot, infectious spot, a complete lockdown can be forced. Okay, complete lockdown. Okay. Let's see, rerouting traffic and reduce footprint. Okay, ITS and the smart city infrastructure can be useful in creating on the fly designated high-speed route to critical and vulnerable locations like hospitals, to supply resources like ventilators, personal protective equipment. With the shortage of such supplies due to high volume of patients infected, many states are pulling all the surgical resources available in state hospitals, assigning them on per need basis. In such scenario, real-time counts of supplies can be maintained in hospital, can automatically initiate a message to the central pool location. Once initiated, designated enforcement vehicles can be loaded with emergency supplies, and fastest routes can be created on the fly with smart traffic light. And roadside units to provide free passage. At the same time, V2V and V2I messaging can be used among vehicles and infrastructures to ensure fastest delivery. It is also possible to create AI-assisted systems that direct the vehicles to drive through COVID-19 text locations based on an area and the waiting time at the different location. This can be enforced with the automated waiting count at the various testing areas, sending such data to central cloud, which will then forward the message to vehicles directing them to different available locations. Such enforcement can also limit the movement of visitors in old age homes, localities with greater density of senior citizen population. More stringent policies can be implemented in state countries with a high rate of health conditions like obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart, and kidney disease. Such architecture can also enable the number of delivery drivers from restaurants and grocery stores to allow a certain number of people at time and in location. Yeah. Okay. E-pass can be generated using radio frequency identification tag that can be placed on a vehicle. Okay. To keep track on who is on the road. This enforcement can also help in limiting the number of vehicles on the road at a time. For example, it should be enforced that no one from the one household is allowed to visit the grocery store more than once in 10 days. Terrible. If the vehicle registered for a household is detected on road, it can be confiscated and the automatic ticket fine can be issued. It is also possible to assign a designated time and date for a particular vehicle belonging to a household. If another vehicle from the same household is detected by roadside sensors without an approved RFID, law enforcement can take policy-based actions. Yeah. Law enforcement. Such RFID can be issued at the nearby Department of Motor Vehicles, which can also allow only one vehicle from each household to be used for driving. In case of front-line workers like healthcare providers, first responders, delivery personnel, exemptions can be made on a case-by-case based on allowed vehicles. As a result of various social distancing policies limiting store building occupancy, people are waiting outside the various businesses like grocery store and pharmacies. Queues have been formed outside such essential business to comply with the various maximum headcount policy. In such scenario, people are still exposed to risk aerosol infection because of the waiting time outside the stores, even though social distancing is followed. Using ITS and smart infrastructure, vehicles can input their destinations in a car global positioning system, which can interact with the central command authority to decide if it is feasible allowed to go to the designated location. Various AI-assisted systems can be built to add this functionality for smart city. A vehicle can be directed to other similar stores with a low foot counter and less wait time. Yeah. It is also possible to send a message to the car from the stores about the various designated parking spots available. Law enforcement can automatically notice in case of violation and automatically issue ticket and fine. Automatically issue fine ticket. Interesting. Okay. D, ITS and big data and AI. On ITS collect a lot of data about the vehicles and the traffic patterns. Specifically, dedicated short-range communications messages have been used in ITS to codify communication. DSRC are one-way, two-way, short-range to medium-range wireless communication channels, specially designed for automotive use. These include fields like latitude, longitude, time, heading angle, speed, acceleration, brake state, steering angle, highlight status, wiper status, external temperature, turn signal status, vehicle length, vehicle width, vehicle mass. Augmented with other data sources which include ambient temperature, ambient air pressure, traction control status, road conditions, etc. These data sources can serve as a medium to create multiple big data. AI system that can provide value by enabling and enforcing social distancing measures. One such big data system can be leveraged to find the traffic hotspots in smart city. These traffic hotspots can inform the local government about the areas which are frequented by the population and must be monitored regularly. Finding these traffic hotspots is also necessary during the disinfection phase. Multiple cities all over the world have deployed heavy machinery to spray antiseptic solutions along with traffic areas such as market, street, shop, religious and public buildings. Leveraging smart city, big data, and AI applications will help empirically prioritize specific locations which are proven traffic hotspots. In a futuristic smart city environment, a system can be built to deploy drones to clean, disinfect, and monitor these traffic hotspots. An ITS system can also be used to track vehicles currently on the road. This specific information can be used by the local law enforcement to create policies that enable enforcement of social distancing measures. An example in situation for such a case is tracking vehicles which have come from areas that have a large number of COVID-19 cases. Here the DSRC messages or AI-based registration plate readers can be used to read the state registration number plate that can inform local authorities about the origin of vehicle. Let's see the challenges and future directions. Building such a social distancing enforcement system at the smart city level is challenging. Researchers and developers need to keep these in mind as in which when they are deploying such systems. Some of them have been discussed below. Security and privacy. One concern related to the security privacy of general citizens who live in smart cities and drive on roads equipped with intelligent transportation system. While building these AI and big data systems, researchers need to make sure that they de-anonymize the data required. We should also use various access control techniques to ensure data maintains confidentiality, availability, and integrity. In the future, these smart cities will generate a large amount of personal data as when citizens will interact with a smart city. Generate a large amount of personal data. In the future smart city. Security private preserving techniques need to be built in parallel as we develop these smart cities. This is a very important issue. Security privacy preserving techniques need to be built in parallel with as we develop these smart cities. AI and big data. Another challenge in creating various big data and AI systems is availability and the amount of data needed. Most of the big data and the AI applications described above require a large quantity of labeled data. Multiple partnerships must be developed between the private and the public sectors to create a data set that can then be leveraged to build these smart city models. So a large quantity of data that can be leveraged to build these smart city models. When we develop various AI-assisted use cases, special attention needs to be given to keep these models fair without bias. Techniques that ensures bias-free decision computations are being created and need to introduce various smart city systems. Here, this paper author first issue they considered this privacy issue, and next, this AI big data issue. And the third issue, future issue, is legislation and the policy. Policy is the technical concern. Privacy is one technical concern for social distancing using smart cities and ITS. However, technological means must complement legislation. It is a legal issue. Smart city and ITS technologies are rapidly on the rise, but legislation, law, policies are lacking and may fail short for a long period of time. Formal policies for social distancing privacy are necessary and must address several issues including secure data collection, video surveillance, and the user latent consent. Trusted third party involved, to say the least. Yeah. Such legalization, legislation must be abided by and deploying smart cities and ITS technologies. As such, research and legislation and the policy, including engagement of public policy development debates, is necessary to successfully integrate the technical privacy solutions in smart city and ITS ecosystem. Not only privacy-related legislation is needed, but also policies that enforce innovation, competition, and private investment in social distancing enforcement using smart cities and ITS technologies are essential. Such policies should include incentives and support for partnership between public and private sectors and the removal of government barriers. They should also highlight the social benefits of advancement in large-scale social distancing enforcement, such as economical growth and saving lives. Next, deployment cost. Deployment cost of smart cities and ITS is massive, ranging from infrastructure cost to operating cost. For instance, attaching device to electrical public lighting not only need municipality collaboration, but also isolation from other critical systems, which pose a burden on time and effort, in turn increase cost. Another example, battery-powered device, drones, are limited in the amount of time they operate and the information they can transmit by the battery lifetime. Not to mention, regular maintenance of such device can be very costly, given they are usually deployed large numbers. Costs also include operating costs. For instance, New York City operated an automated speed enforcement program in 140 school zones with 180 speed cameras for over 2 years at the cost of almost $70 million. It is worth mentioning that enforcing social distancing may add on to those aforementioned costs due to the need of a particular device and sensors. Drone equipped with the body heat sensors for cloud detection is cost very much. Even though the deployment cost of smart cities and ITS are massive, they can help reduce cost on other occasions. For example, drones monitoring cloud for social distancing can save expense of law enforcement officers physically monitoring the street and allow them to attend to more crucial matters. Additionally, enforcing social distancing in and by itself reduces costs. During the COVID-19 outbreak, cutting down the number of patients will substantially reduce the healthcare sector costs. As such, developing a framework for social distancing enforcement in an effective, timely, and cost-effective manner is important future research direction. Another important future research directions include the benefit cost analysis studies for smart cities and ITS. As an example of ITS, traffic rerouting and predictive analysis can help reduce traffic congestion. Not only will it serve in enforcing social distancing rules, but also save cost of unnecessary trips to cloud destinations. These including aforementioned scenarios, for example, are examples where enforcing social distancing helps in saving money. Analysts on the degree to which enforcing social distancing rules potentially reduce cost is crucial as it incentives the government and reduce the economical burdens of applying large-scale social distancing enforcement. Okay. Let's conclude this paper. COVID-19 outbreak is unprecedented, has disrupted the lives of millions of people across the globe. This pandemic has opened several research challenges, opportunities that our community must address to equip itself for the future. The proposed architecture and the AI-assisted applications discussed in this article can be used to effectively and timely enforce social distancing, community measures, optimize the use of resources in critical situations. This article offers a conceptual overview, serve as stepping stones to extensive research and deployment of automated data-driven technologies in smart city and intelligent transportation systems. Okay. They plan to develop AI-driven applications for wider adoption in community. Okay.